Cox Bolton. I am the coordinator for the No One Measure B campaign, and we're happy to have you this afternoon. As you know, there will be a charter amendment on the November ballot in the city of Santa Barbara that will lower our current height limits. A broad and diverse coalition of individuals who don't always agree on issues have come together to oppose changing these height limits. Our message is simple. We want to preserve our heritage and protect our future. The city currently has a 60-foot height limit downtown that has served Santa Barbara well for decades. Many of our most beloved buildings, the Arlington and Ladera Theaters, Trinity Church, and dozens of others are over 40 feet tall, the height limit proposed by Measure B. And the majority of those buildings would be unable to be rebuilt in a disaster should Measure B pass. We want to preserve the Santa Barbara we know and love. Additionally, Measure B would have adverse impacts on Santa Barbara's future. Changing our height limits would be bad for our environment, bad for our economy, and bad for working families. I'm proud today to introduce this broad and diverse coalition that's come together to oppose changing our height limits. And I've asked several of them to share with you their perspective on why Measure B is bad for Santa Barbara. And I will introduce them one at a time. First, though, I do want to acknowledge two people and say thank you for having them join us. That is Doss Williams, City Council member in Santa Barbara, and Bruce Bartlett, Planning Commissioner of Santa Barbara. So with that, let me first introduce Kim Kimball, a longtime environmentalist here in Santa Barbara.
My principal concern is the effect this will have on our outlying areas. I'm deeply involved in efforts to preserve and protect Gaviota. I feel this reduction of potential density in the urban core will have the effect of putting pressure on the Gaviota area and cause urban sprawl. It can also put pressure on some of our less dense neighborhoods, such as San Roque and the Mesa, for increased density due to the restrictions that would be imposed on the downtown core. This is where density should be, and this will facilitate public transit and has many other benefits as well.
Thank you, Kim. Let me next introduce Joe Andrulaitis, a local architect and a member of the American Institute of Architects.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Debbie. I'm Joe Andrulaitis, and I speak to you today as an architect representing the AIA, but not only as an architect, but as a father of two young children and as a resident of Santa Barbara for 16 years. I treasure this community, and I seek to help transform the city into one of the most sustainable communities in the country for my children and future generations. Measure B, the initiative to lower building heights, is neither smart nor sustainable, and it's inconsistent with the sustainable planning and design goals that our community desires. Instead of bringing us together to find sustainable solutions for our future, this issue tears at the social fabric that contributes to a healthy community. At 40 feet, many of our existing architectural icons will be non-conforming, and many of our future architectural icons will never be built. The varied roof lines and pitches that adorn our skyline will be transformed into a sea of flat roofs in order to adhere to the new restrictions, which give architects less flexibility to design the treasured landmarks we all desire. Let's preserve our current height limit of 60 feet, which has served us well and given us a beautiful built environment that is Santa Barbara today. Let's all truly be green and vote no on Measure B. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Belen Serra, the Executive Director of Pueblo.
Hi, Belen Serra, and Pueblo represents over 400 low-income families in this community, and of course we oppose Measure B. We believe that Measure B will make it even harder for organizations like Pueblo to advocate for affordable housing. And also because we believe that this is not the way to be planning the design of the city. This is not a decision that should be going to the voters. This is a decision that it should be made at the Plan Santa Barbara General Update. We mobilize people to the workshops during this time, and we are hoping to continue mobilizing low-income residents of Santa Barbara so they can make those decisions there at the Plan Santa Barbara. So we hope that these measures will not come again, and because we believe that ballot box planning is not the way to resolve the issues that affect this community. We urge voters to vote no on Measure B. Queremos que los votantes de aquí de Santa Bárbara voten no a la medida B en las elecciones de noviembre. Gracias.
Next, let me introduce Michael Holiday.
That's the big part truck.
That is Michael's on the executive committee of the Santa Barbara Region Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of Santa Barbara. That's the brakes on the bake mark. My name is Michael Holiday. I'm a local architect for 20 years here in Santa Barbara. I'm also on the executive committee with the Santa Barbara Region Chamber of Commerce. Our organization was founded in 1878. We represent over 2,000 local and small businesses here in Santa Barbara. Our board of directors has taken a strong position against this Measure B proposal for a number of reasons, but our real focus is that there's been virtually no consideration of the unintended consequences of this measure. Because of the nature of a ballot box planning measure like this, it has to be very simplistic. The unintended consequences of this measure are both extreme and far-reaching. According to much of the hype that was used to generate the Measure B support, many of the buildings that were supposed to be built were supposed to happen in 2009 and 2010. That was before there was any consideration for a pending economic recession, much less the worst economic crisis of our lifetimes. The proponents of Measure B have not even begun to consider the economic impact of Measure B on our community. Based on a preliminary review by potential architects and developers and real estate professionals, there would be tens of millions of dollars of property value lost if Measure B were to pass immediately. Not to mention the hundreds of millions of dollars of potential future projects that could be built in the downtown area over the next 10, 20 to 30 years. Those economic impacts will affect everybody in Santa Barbara in a negative way. We love this city. We love the beauty of this city. The existing building height measure is flawed and untimely, and we strongly urge the citizens of Santa Barbara to avoid the unintended consequences of this measure and to vote no on Measure B. Thank you.